So my boy Mark was over here trying to confess his love to Eve, and then he gets a call on the phone from Cecil talking about some damn every single hero in America has been captured. So they suit up and go down to where the heroes was captured, and it's in the underground, the deep dark pits of the earth. And this old ass dude, Doc Seismic, was the one that captured all the heroes. And the bare minimum amount of heroes that got captured was 28. And I'm just like, brother, how does the boys do this concept of there being a hero in every state better than invincible superheroes in America? I mean, in Invincible, y'all be fighting niggas in outer space and you only have 28 heroes in the United States of America? The best nigga they got in the boys universe is a kinda strong dude that can fly and shoot lasers out of his eyes. And they over here got this superhero in every state gimmick locked down better than y'all. Yeah, man, Cecil, you suck. But Mark and Eve pull up on Doc Seismic, tell him bro to stop, go back to jail. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. Claps and summons big ass centipedes and giant ass lava men too. But Mark and Eve start handling these big ass centipedes as best they can, as we see Cecil watching in from a signal robot done sent them. Then Cecil asks Donald, like, damn, we don't got no more superheroes left? And Donald's like, brother, you said he took every superhero in the United States. We don't got nobody close. Alright then, drop pods 1 through 3. But we go back to the Mark and Eve squabbles, and Mark done pulled up on these big ass magma men. Slammed old dude on the ground, then gripped up magma man number 2 by the chest like a basketball, and then chunked both these dudes at this big ass centipede as they bodies went splat on that nigga. Imagine your whole purpose just being damaged to another guy. Mark pulls up on bros with this nasty ass 3-piece, and then he ends that bitch off with this mean ass uppercut. But that centipede uses his face pincers and back Mark up as we go to Doc Seismic, and bro just starts glazing. As we see what Eve is doing, and she is getting back in the corner by these big ass worms. She puts up a shield and that shit got broken immediately as Mark tells bro to go free everybody while he has her back. Mark started pushing these worms back as Eve started hauling ass to free the squad. She almost got snuck by this big ass centipede, but Mark pulled up, blocking that nigga just in time. But Doc Seismic pulls up on Eve, thunder claps her right in the face, knocking her ass out, and Mark is pissed. Understandably so, man. Mark was just trying to confess to her ass 3 minutes ago. He pushed that centipede off of him. That centipede said, alright, little nigga. Chomped that nigga Mark down, had him pinned. Mark over here trying to break this fang off of him. He does, but he's poisoned, woozy, dazed and confused, Schmeckledorfed even. Doc Seismic pulls up on Invincible, puts his hand on his chin, and booms him with this mean ass shockwave. Knocks the little bro all the way out. Once he wakes up, he's in a cocoon with Eve, and he is trying to get them both out of there. But before that can happen, Doc Seismic's trying to boom all the superheroes by closing this cave that they're in on them. But before he could do that, a shuriken stops him from doing that. Doc Seismic turns around, and it's a black man as 4 pods come shooting down into this cave. And what comes out of these pods is like 14 reanimen. And Mark is rightfully upset, because these are the same dudes that abducted his friend, turned him into half a robot, and almost beat Mark to death. And Cecil just got a bunch more of them made by the same nigga. Also, that scuffed Batman was just murdering niggas in scuffed Gotham City. But now he's just working with Cecil, which is cool too, I guess. The reanimen don't waste no time. They get to work to immediately start freeing all the heroes. Then we see all the heroes and the reanimen just jumping the centipedes and magma men, while Mark in the cut not feeling any of it. Cecil said he was gonna lock them niggas up, and now they're working for him? Brother man said, forget the mission, I'm finna see these niggas with their hands real quick. Takes the reanimen that just freed him and Eve out of this cocoon for a ride. Absolutely folded, cuz. Doc Seismic over here realizing that he's finna lose because all the superheroes is putting belt 2 ass on the centipedes and magma men. So he's like, fuck it. He starts trying to collapse the cave again. But this time he don't care about who goes out. He said everybody here gots to go. Mark was finna scoop his ass up, but Darkwing popped up out of Doc Seismic's shadow and gets his ass yoked into the shadow realm. And now that Doc Seismic's gone, all them big ass bugs like, well, damn, I ain't know y'all had it like that, and dipped. All the heroes regroup, and then Dark Shadow pulls back up with Doc Seismic as Mark pulls up on this nigga and shoulder bashes the hell out of cuz. He said, yeah man, Black History Month don't work for you, nigga. And Mark starts going off on Darkwing and the reanimen because one of them niggas supposed to be in jail and the other side of them niggas not even supposed to be made. Then Immortal gonna pull up on some damn just calm down Invincible. This like Chaozu trying to make a threat, brother. The only reason that you are so valuable is because you are immortal. You don't hit on shit for real. Rex really the MVP of the Guardians of the Globe. This nigga Immortal just lives. But Marky Mark tired of the BS, so he starts flying over there to Cecil, trying to have a man-to-man with bro. And them boys, they is talking, they is yapping, and then Mark just like, why the hell did you need those guys? And then Cecil's like, we needed things like that in case niggas like you didn't work, or I needed protection from you. Mark's like, protection from me? What do you need protection from me from, nigga? But Cecil also started throwing that Angstrom Levy trauma back at Mark, just for Mark to follow Cecil into the White Room. And then Cecil hits Mark with the G's, kid, you're scaring me. Yeah, man, this nigga Cecil's a cop-ass nigga. Shoulda knew never to trust a nigga that hairline started the back of their head. We get a little flashback of young Cecil, and I'm only covering this because young Cecil was actually throwing them things. Bro just goes into this clothing store, pulls out that Yao Meaner, having everybody get up out of there. Absolutely scaring the life out of the cashier too. He goes to the back, he doesn't see what he's looking for, so then he calls in saying that it was a bust, just to get pulled up on by that same cashier. And then she took her fit off to reveal another fit, and I'm like, hold on a second. Why she kinda bad though? He tried to call backup, but she done snagged his phone and broke that bitch too. Took bro's blicky as well. As she pulls up on bro with the two-piece, she gets hit with the left and she tries to respond back with these multiple jabs, but Cecil just blocked them hoes. Just for Cecil to try to hit this mean ass winded up ass right, just for her to dodge it and kick this nigga 14 feet back. Cecil got up, put out a stun gun. She tried to kick dog. Cecil blocked to have a little weave off until she kicks this nigga in the back of the ankle, just to get this nasty ass two-piece. I mean, ragdolling this nigga Cecil. He dropped a stun gun and she just started pressuring this nigga backwards with these kicks, and then she uppercut this nigga through his guard. Yeah, brother, go ahead, put them hands down. It don't matter what you're doing. You finna get hit, gang. Cecil whiffs again just to get knee in the sternum and his ass kicked away. And Shorty over here talking about bombing the city on some shit. As she's backing Cecil up, he tries to throw this punch. She catches that bitch and just breaks his hand. Cecil whiffs a two-piece again. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta give it to Cecil. Still trying to punch with a broken ass hand is nuts. But Shorty just grabbed his ass up and kicked his ass into these cabinets. But Cecil done grabbed that stun gun and tased her ass. Cecil goes to try to undo that bomb, but he gets pulled up on by another nigga and he starts doing Cecil in. I mean, god damn. But backup really does arrive. When he called earlier and said it's a bust, that was actually secret code. So they pulling up. So now these G.I. Joe rejects activate the bomb anyways. And that bitch is just like a pathogen, just starts melting they skin off. Cecil goes to close the door to stop the gas from spreading any further, but it's still frying, cooking his ass. Bro over here looking like a can of potted meat. But Cecil passes out, gets helped, gets synthetic skin put on him, and that's where he got that freaky ass scar on his face. Back to what's actually important though, Cecil done called the reanimen to surround this nigga Mark. And Mark's over here still tripping over that "you're scaring me, kid" comment, cause Mark's like, nigga, I'm not even doing nothing. Tries to walk towards Cecil, and one of the reanimen grabs Mark by the arm. Oh yeah, it's up for these bitch ass niggas. Mark turns around and punches the jawline off of this nigga. The reanimen start bum rushing Mark. One of them pulls up on Cuz. He grabs him by the arm, rips that bitch right off. Reanimen number 275 pulls up on Mark, and he gets punched right through the sternum. Punches this nigga through the head, and he's talking crazy to Cecil. And we just see Mark in the background going to town on the reanimen, bro. He is not giving these niggas a single chance. Hey man, I'll tell you this right now, man. Me and Mark Grayson, we like this. What Mark did to this reanimen was a little OD. He punched a hole through bro's stomach, ripped his body in half, grabbed him by his entrails, and used him to beat up two other niggas. Like, brother man, you did not need to do all that. That was kind of crazy, but pop off, I guess. 4 more reanimen pull up. One of them sneaks Mark, pushing his ass back, having him trip over the bodies he done made. But that was the first and last punch bro got, because he got his head punched off. The other two got their jaws realigned. And what Mark did to this fourth one was kind of crazy too, man. He punched him in the gut so hard, the only thing left from his body was his legs from the knees down. I mean, turn that brother into splat. After that, Mark says, "Is that all you got?" And what that nigga Dashy be saying, man, don't count your chickens, because Cecil turned off the White Room, and yeah, it's just an army of reanimen. As Cecil's talking crazy to Mark, and pause. Look at this nigga Cecil's dome piece. Hammerhead shark built ass boy, nigga. This is diabolical, brother. Government spent all that money giving you synthetic skin, but they couldn't fix this fucking wallop you got going on right here, brother. Like, get a toupee, nigga. Damn. But Mark's been getting tired of Cecil's shit. He was pulling up on bro, getting ready to punch his lights out, but Cecil pressed this button and this loud ass ringing noise went off in Mark's head. He done put a weapon in Mark's head to control him whenever he wanted to. I mean, that noise sat Mark's ass down. And Cecil's over here still trying to talk to Mark to have him work for him. And nigga, you're working with my ops? You put a weapon in my head? Why would I work for you? But Cecil takes his finger off the button, tells Mark to go home, and Mark's like, nigga, I'm not listening to you no more, gangy. Flies up out of there with the most aggressive ass force, man. This is the equivalent of getting into an argument with your parents and slamming the door. As Mark's flying, Cecil presses that button again, dropping Mark down to the ground because that noise is messing up his equilibrium and he cannot fly without that bitch. Cecil still talking to Mark, trying to have bro work for him, even compares him to his dad, and that's where Mark draws the line. He flies up out of there, flying all across the world while Cecil has to hop through these portals just to try to catch up to him. Mark goes flying towards the Guardians of the Globe base. Cecil presses the button and Mark goes crashing right through the base as he's over here asking Rudy to take this chip out of his head. But Cecil's bitch ass done poured it into the Guardians Globe base and he's like, hey, don't listen to that nigga. He presses the button and starts having Mark convulsing on the floor in front of the Guardians of the Globe. Now they looking at Cecil crazy because it's like, bro, everything that you might have had to say just got thrown out the window because you're over here torturing my nigga Marcus. Not only that, reanimen just start popping up out of nowhere as Cecil's getting ready to tag and bag Mark. But then the Guardians are like, hey bro, Mark's our boy. We is not finna let this slide. Rex starts throwing bombs at niggas and they start going off on these reanimen. I mean, they is beating the reanimen's bitch ass right now. But Rex sees that Cecil's still pressing that button, having Mark have a damn near seizure on the ground, so he throws his bombs at Cecil's hand, blowing that bitch up. But Robot says stop way too late because it didn't matter if you blew up the remote control, there's a backup control at the GDA. Robot's trying to block out the frequency, but the reanimen pull up on Mark while he's tweaking and they just start beating this nigga's back in. I mean, they is pummeling bro, putting the pots and pans to his spinal cord. Monster Girl over here trying to help out the best she can, but Robot blocks the frequency just in time. And oh nah, this nigga Mark finna crash out. Cause Mark gets up, cuts this reanimen in half, and then cuts two in half at the same time. Punched this nigga so hard, his body flew back, and once it hit something solid, he turned it to splat. He grabs his nigga head and squeezes bro to death. He is moving just like his pops. He rips this nigga in half, hammer fist this nigga to death, punch the upper body off of this reanimen, and Mark really got the Guardians of the Globe base looking like how Nolan did the Guardians of the Globe in their own base in season 1. But Mark scooped up Cecil, choking this nigga out, telling him he's never gonna work for him and to never come near his family again. Got the whole team shook, understandably so, and then he asked Rudy to take this weapon out of his head. And I'm just gonna play it to y'all because he said that shit to Rudy so aggressive.
Rudy, get this fucking thing out of my head. Now.
Yes. Of course.
I know Rudy was scared out of his mind, shaking out of his boots, but I know this nigga Mark would not be talking to me like that, bro. I don't care how angry you is. You don't watch your tone with me, little nigga. The Guardians of the Globe split up because they realized Cecil's not on shit, but you know, niggas like Immortal, Black Samson, Shapesmith, and Kate stay. And I be forgetting Immortal's weird ass is engaged to Kate. Like Immortal, there is an entire portion of the Super Bowl halftime show dedicated to niggas like you. You freaky frog, man, you cannot fuck that little ass dog. So we start off with these two dudes contemplating, do I steal or do I work a 9 to 5? Do I steal or do I work a 9 to 5? And y'all think when they're home they rub their bald heads against each other as a form of affection? No, I should get back to the video. Okay. And they was grinding, working that 9 to 5 life until they got fired, so they went back to stealing. And this time they decided to steal from the same bank, which is crazy. It didn't matter because Oliver pulled up. Mark followed after his ass and beat the brakes off of these two niggas, locking these two thugs up for good. And you know what's crazy, man? Episode tried to give us this sad little life rundown of these two niggas, and all I gotta say is that's tough. You know what I'm saying, man? Maybe still better, maybe still when Mark's not patrolling around town. But Mark is mad at Oliver because he just put on a jacket and some goggles thinking that that's a costume. So Mark takes Oliver to Art to get bro his own suit, and Oliver gets his suit and he calls himself Kid Omni-Man. And this nigga Mark's like, bro, I can't take little dude nowhere. But on On top of that, Art gives Mark a new suit, and it's black and blue. This bitch fire. But then Mark and Oliver hear that there's been a breakout in the prison. So Oliver heads out that way without even breaking a sweat. Mark catches up and then he says, "This is your training. You're gonna watch as I beat these niggas' asses." Scuffed Electro breaks a guard tower, and everything Mark just said to Oliver 2.5 seconds ago goes out the window because he tries to help them out. And as Oliver's going over to help the people in the guard tower, Electro's diet clone zaps that nigga right out the air. And Mark, being protective of his little brother, just duffs the mess out of this nigga. I mean, golly. Furnace tried to spin back for his boy, but Mark's over here tanking the flames, gripped his ass up by the chest, slammed him on the ground, started beating on his ass just to pick him up and chunk him near the wall. He just dropped Scuffed Electro off on it. Golly. Brother man threw that nigga so hard his entire suit of armor broke. Bro fell on top of Electro's cousin, started frying his ass. Mark goes and sees if Oliver's okay. Little dude is fine, just chilling. He tells bro, hey, maybe listen next time, bro. Like, I don't know, that was kind of crazy. But we fast forward like 10 minutes into the episode, and we got these two niggas talking about some damn Lizard League broke into this military base. And this nigga's like, hey, lightning doesn't strike the same spot twice. And what do you know, man? The Mer-Twins break through that same wall the Lizard League broke into, and them boys got gunned down in the middle of the street. If I was Shorty on our way to heaven, I'm killing bro again. Cause why did you even say that? The Mer-Twins are over here trying to steal this nuke, but they're on the lookout. They know the Guardians of the Globe finna pull up, and they're ready for their bitch ass. And once the Guardians of the Globe do pull up, the Maulers start looking at these niggas like, man, where the hell the rest of y'all, bro? Y'all gave us the B team, the backup, the bench warmers. Well, Immortal was always on your team, so maybe the Guardians of the Globe was always the bench warmers, but still, y'all finna get cooked. As the first nigga they take out is Black Samson, man. The black man being the first nigga you take out, and this episode aired during Black History Month. Yeah, I know how you niggas get down. Whole squad just kind of watched it happen too. Immortal tries to fly at the Mauler that just shot Black Samson, and he gets tackled by the other one and thrown into this metal beam. God damn, Immortal, dog, just stay down. All this nigga Immortal do is get his ass beat and be a predator. Shapesmith tries to pull up on the Maulers, but he was about to get blicked down by them niggas before Darkwing pulled up and saved his ass. Then Duplicate pulls up. How is her weak ass the first nigga to get any hits off on these boys? That's how we know the Guardians of the Globe sorry. Duplicate be stat padded and she's still ass, but she gets gunned down too. Immortal spinning back for his fresh out of high school fiance. He over here hit one clean punch on one of the Mer-Twins. Yeah, nigga, you suck. As Darkwing's over there with Shapesmith, and that nigga Shapesmith got gunned down too. As Darkwing's going in and out of the Shadowverse, teleporting all around this room. As bro pulled up from behind one of the Mauler's shadow, kicked him 2 times in the back of the knee, hit him in the back of the head, and tried to take his ass to the Shadowverse. But look at the size of the Mauler's neck. You wasn't finna move that, gang. And the Mauler just shot bro while he was trying to go inside of the Shadowverse. Cooked his ass too. Immortal's ass over here actually getting a competent combo off on one of the Maulers just to get shot in the back, frying his ass too. We then see that Mark and Debbie saw the Fraudians of the Globe get put on fraud watch once again. So our boy Invincible has to go save the day. He pulls up on the Mer-Twins and they start cooking his ass. They calling him Invincible. Me personally, that holding back shit would have stopped there. But Mark a better man than me. The Maulers start trying to beam Mark down with that nerve ray gun. Mark is dipping and dodging until he isn't. He gets hit with that hoe, starts contorting on the floor. But Mark is a big stepper. He just willpowers through that shit, stands back up. The Maulers is talking crazy. They finna blick his ass again. But Oliver pulls up with the clutch save, breaking that gun. The Maulers try to pull up on Oliver at the same time. He just headbutts both them niggas away. And Mark's looking at little bro like, dude, what is you doing here? And Oliver's confused. He's like, bro, I'm saving your life, big bro. But none of that yip yap matters now because the Maulers pull up on Mark. Brother man whiffs the twofer and then gets a 3-piece on Mark. Picks his ass up and then tricks him at a wall, starts choking his ass out. And I'm not gonna lie, that's kinda nuts, bro. There's only so much holding back a nigga can do before he snaps. It's gotta be like play fighting with your younger siblings. You over here holding back, but then that little nigga starts pulling off some shit you ain't never seen before. So now you gotta stop that shit dead in its tracks. This Mauler whiffs a 3-piece on Oliver just to get hit in the back of the head by this purple ass nigga. But Oliver gets his whole entire little child head palmed and slammed on the ground. Mark has had enough. He uppercuts the Mauler off of him. One of the Maulers starts dribbling Oliver's head on the pavement until Mark pulls up and shoulder tackles his ass away. The Maulers get up and like, that's crazy. So anyways, and then they launch the nuke. Mark tells Oliver to leave while he goes to deal with the nuke. Oliver don't leave though. Oliver being left alone with the two Maulers. The Maulers over here like, oh yeah, this gonna be free eats. But nah, the Maulers couldn't be more wrong. Cause Oliver pulls up on dude and chin checks the mess out of bro, dislocating his jaw. I mean, got that bitch swinging like a swing set. Oliver tries to finish the job off, but the other Mauler grabs bro by the leg and starts doing Oliver like how Hulk be doing niggas in Rivals. We then go see Mark and he pulls up on a nuke and he just punches that bitch, tanking the whole entire blast. As Oliver shakes the cobwebs off, pulls up on one of the Maulers and oh nah, Oliver just flies through this nigga's guts with this punch. Oliver, you're like 3 months old. You can't be doing niggas like this, gang. Now with all the blood from the Mauler he just boomed on him, he starts walking down on the other Mauler as bro is cowering in fear. He do not want these problems from this purple ass boy. Brother man popped this nigga head with this uppercut like it was a balloon. All of the Guardians of the Globe saw this 3-month-old child do what they couldn't do in 14 years. But Cecil pulls up and he's trying to talk to Oliver. And oh nah, man, this nigga Mark grabbed the hell out of Cecil. Look at the grip on this nigga neck. How is brother still alive? Then Mark takes Oliver away. Oliver's confused because he's like, bro, I stopped the villains. Why are you mad at me? So now Mark gotta fly after Oliver. He catches him, bro. And he's like, man, you just caught 2 bodies and you over here acting like nothing happened. Then Oliver hits Mark with the, don't you think sometimes dad was right? And this nigga Mark didn't say a damn word. As these boys get home, have a talk with Debbie, they all reconcile because they're family. Then Mark sees a floating orb outside his crib. He grabs that bitch and it explodes. This nigga Angstrom is still alive. Mark and Eva's on a date. They're in Paris trying to do they thug thizzle. Then my boy Marcus gets pulled up on by 2 niggas and they're like, hey, we're from the future, we need your help. And Mark's like, wait a minute, ain't you the niggas that stole the Declaration of Independence? I'm not going anywhere with y'all. So they abduct my boy and take his ass to the future. Now that we're here, they tell Mark what they need help with. Their entire planet is under rule of a tyrannical king and they need Mark's help to stop him. So once my boy Mark pulls up on the king, they find out it's this bum ass nigga Immortal. Bro is tripping. He has lost his mind because he's been alive way longer than he should have. He's been past his expiration date. And he's like, yeah man, I've only been this way because I was waiting for you to kill me. And Mark's like, nigga, huh? You what? Why? Nigga, throw yourself into the sun, gang. I'm not finna boom you. So now that Mark's adamant on not taking Immortal's life, he's like, yeah, I'm finna make you do that shit, pussy. If I was Mark in this situation, as soon as Immortal said, take my head would have been rolling off of his shoulders. So the Immortal punches Mark away, hits him with an uppercut, and tackles his ass into the sky roof. Mark kicks Immortal off of him though, but Immortal's eager ass just latches back on the Mark. Frame 1. Dropped his ass on the ground, had his ass eating the cement. Brother man starts choking Mark out, telling him, you gots to boom me. And Mark's like, bro, why? Go do what Reiner did, but actually pull the trigger this time. Mark gets Immortal off of him, tries to fly away, but Immortal grabs this nigga by the leg and throws his ass through a pillar. Mark got up just to see Immortal throwing this pillar at him. He dodged, and then Immortal got this mean ass 4-piece combo off of my nigga Marcus. And he proceeded just to grab that nigga's head, squeezing it. Immortal still begging Mark to end his life, and Mark's like, brother, I can't do that, gang. As the 2 niggas that abducted Mark pull up, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna make you do it. Zooms at them boys and grips one of them up, starts choking bro out. So Mark tackles his ass off of him and like, gang, what is your problem? You need to relax. So Immortal grabs this nigga by the neck, slams him on the ground and starts doing him like how Broly was doing Goku. Straight force feeding that nigga the wall. Immortal chunks his ass, then gets this nasty ass 2-piece as he proceeds to grab Mark by his hair and starts pummeling my guy, talking crazy. And Mark is getting sick and tired of holding back. So he grabs this nigga Immortal by the head and just rips it off. He tells them 2 to make sure the head and the body aren't close or he'll just regenerate, as they take his ass back to the present so he can resume his date with Eve. We then fast forward to the end of the episode and that boy Nolan is getting ready to get executed. Alan ain't finna let his homie down. So Alan breaks out of prison as we see how they doing my boy Nolan for his execution. And I'm not gonna lie, Viltrumites might be tough as hell. They decided the way you execute a Viltrumite is you lock that nigga in chains, you get 2 other Viltrumites, and you just start punching the shit out of bro. But these 2 Viltrumites over here punching on Nolan like they 17 and 18. Like, guys, stop dick eating. I know y'all not this synchronized anywhere else. And I mean, they are jumping the hell out of this nigga. Straight pots and pans on his ass. But we go back to the Alan whoops, and he's over here getting shot at the guards, and he's like, you know what? Why I gotta deal with these guys by myself? And he starts breaking everybody out of prison. Now we got a full-on prison break. And that yellow one, put that nigga back in the cell. But the guards take out most of the prisoners until Alan's like, well, just me again. He finds this big ass door, he opens it, there is a big stepper behind that door, and my main man, Battle Beast, brother, is just the Kenpachi of Invincible. The first thing Battle Beast says when Alan walks through that door, you got a strong nigga for me to fight. And Alan's like, bet, there's some Viltrumites, and Battle Beast don't even let bro finish that sentence. He heard the word Viltrum and he was already locked in. So Alan and Battle Beast is tearing through these boys like they is paper. Straight just dogging them until Battle Beast is like, I thought you said there would be a challenge, but the only challenge I see here is you. And I was like, well, I appreciate the compliment, but I promise you on my life, nigga, on my soul, on everything I love, there's like 3 Viltrumites, and 2 of them, you can fight both of them at the same time for all I care, nigga. I don't give a damn. And then we start hearing these loud ass thuds coming from up underneath them. As we get back to Nolan's execution, and the Viltrumites still dogging this nigga. They're getting ready to finish the job, but Battle Beast and Alan come through the ceiling at just the right time. Battle Beast gets down there and he is geeking over here saying, hey man, if I die here, it was worth it. Pulls up on the first Viltrumite, kicks his ass away. He goes for a spinning back fist and a right hook on the other Viltrumite, but brother dodged. As Battle Beast gets cracked with the uppercut, eats that hoe, grabs the Viltrumite by his whole entire head, and hits brother man with a knee headbutt combo. Alan's over here trying to free his nigga Nolan as he gets pulled up on by that Viltrumite that got kicked away by Battle Beast. That Viltrumite tries to get a 2-piece off on Alan. He dodged and Alan responded with a 3-piece of his own. He knocked that goofy ass nigga back and Alan was like, oh yeah, that's free, eat. Tried to hit him with this flying punch, but oh nah, he dodged and uppercut bro right in his sternum. Had that boy Alan Gusha knocked his ass on the ground. And that Viltrumite's ground and pound game must have been on 10 because he got on that nigga Alan and just started going to town on bro. I mean, just waylaying my goat. And Nolan seeing his friend get beaten and all them times he was saying no to Alan's help, he's like, yeah, nah, I got to help my brother. Breaks out of the chains and punches the hell out of that nigga off of Alan. As Nolan pulls up on bro once again, and they're having to dodge and block off until Nolan gets this mean ass right hook off on bro. Then these boys trade punches. They think they Goku and Vegeta. Y'all is not like that, gang. Just for that Viltrumite's punch to be stronger. But to be fair, that nigga Nolan was just getting his ass beat for like 15 minutes straight. That punch knocked Nolan back and Alan came through punching that Viltrumite away. These boys, Alan and Nolan, is playing Tekken tag on these dumb niggas. But Alan and Nolan started getting blasted back by them guards, so they had to finish them off as we see Battle Beast fighting the other Viltrumite in the background. One of the guards gets a shot off on this nigga Alan's head and bro was pissed. So we just shoved his head through that damn spaceship. Had his ass breathing that space air, straight freezing his dome. Alan's ass was still getting lit up and he's like, you know what? I'm getting tired of these niggas. Breaks an even bigger hole in this spaceship, cooking all the guards and just having to be Alan, Nolan, Battle Beast, and the 2 Viltrumites. Battle Beast and that other Viltrumite is scrapping. This nigga Battle Beast got that Viltrumite in a bear hug, but that Viltrumite throws him off of him as Battle Beast just sunk his claws into bro's chest. And they're still fighting while plummeting in space. Brother, it's never this serious. But Alan's kind of getting dogged on by his Viltrumite. Brother man is just punching his ass downwards till Nolan comes up from behind, grips that nigga up, pulse. Got brother man in a full Nelson as Alan pulls up with the hammer fist, mind you, and just starts beating that nigga's ass. Full Nelson assisted repeated hammer fist to the dome piece is kinda crazy. Niggas pulling out shit I ain't never seen before on these boys. But that Viltrumite kicks Alan off of him and knocks Nolan back. But Alan grabbed that nigga head, hit him with a dragon throw. That Viltrumite pulled back up on Alan. He hit bro with this mean ass sidestep because he was trying to punch him and this nigga's face. He knew it was over right here. There was nothing he could do about it. Bro was praying to whatever God he believes in, cause God damn. Alan and Nolan punch bro in the head at the same time, exploding bro shit, turning it into potato salad. As now Nolan and Alan are truly best friends, and Nolan tells Alan the Viltrumite's biggest secret. There are fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left. My niggas Mark and Eve get a call from the prison that they do retainer work for. A damn dragon is attacking the prison, trying to break out Multi-Paul. So they suit up and head out. The dragon over here just killing inmates and was finna wreck through this wing of the prison until Mark done grabbed that nigga by the tail, stopping him in his tracks. Mark and Eve over here gave the dragon a slip as Mark pulled up on its tummy, started going crazy on that shit, doing absolutely no damage. Dragon Man keeps on trying to chomp at my nigga Mark, but he is unsuccessful as Marcus Grayson just flies at bro full sprint, hitting bro right in his side, knocking him on his ass, but that dragon hit Mark with his tail, sent my little dude flying. Eve over here trying to do the best support job she can, started shooting his ass with little pew-pews. Eve makes these shields, makes a rope, gives it to Mark, and turns herself into a damn ball as Mark spins her ass as fast as she can and knocks this nigga right in his mouth. Mark and Eve equip that couple's power-up boost. They both come charging that bro at the same time, knocking this nigga on his ass. Mark and Eve kind of doing this dragon dirty, but we see Multi-Paul's cell has been broken. He can just get out of that bitch. As Multi-Paul multiplies himself out of that collar, and Eve pulls up on bro like, hey nigga, go back in prison, locking up all the other escaped inmates as well. Paul is giving Eve the slip, making a clone every time he gets captured, until Eve's like, fuck it, makes a box throughout the entire facility just to capture Paul, and she succeeds in that. Or so we thought. This nigga Paul is elusive as hell. He gave Adam Eve the slip for good. And I'm just looking at Paul and wondering why his sister is so ass. Like, you know what? Maybe you and Immortal are perfect for each other. You niggas is both terrible at your jobs. But we go back to the Mark and the dragon whoops, and Mark is kinda getting done dirty now. He done got slashed across the chest. He tried to hit the jets, but that dragon caught up to bro, smacking him with his tail. He tried to stomp on Invincible as he slid up under bro, grabbing him by the tail just to slam his ass on the fence. He saw that there was a watchtower falling, so he saved the people from there, but that was a big mistake. Dragon saw Mark vulnerable, like, oh yeah, free eats, and just bit this nigga. I mean, 2 teeth inside of this nigga body. He is actually going through it right now. He done chunked my nigga Mark through a building, but he got up, did a Hulk smash as the dragon walked to him, fell for this trap as Mark flew up in the air as fast as he can just to fly back down with his swiftness and turn this nigga's head into a damn pancake. I mean, he put that elbow right in his cranium. And then Mark, thinking that everything is done, is like, Eve, nigga, we don't charge these niggas enough. We need more money. But, oh, nah. The dragon regenerated and stomped on this nigga Mark, putting that pressure on him. As we go to Machine Head, it pulls up on this mafia boss, blicks him right in the head. Dragon is done for. I ain't gonna lie, I've been waiting for this one, cause this nigga Powerplex is a fucking idiot. And to be completely honest, it's an understandable reason why he's upset at Mark. Brother man's niece and sister are cooked because of the fight that happened between Mark and Nolan. But then this nigga Powerplex goes, works for the GDA. Not only that, he hears all the reports that have been happening that Mark, Invincible, was defending people from Omni-Man, his father, the best he could. Omni-Man was just a demon. But then he starts working at the GDA, and then he sees all the camera footage of Mark trying his absolute best to stop Nolan from killing people, but he just simply couldn't. And this nigga Powerplex still has the audacity to blame Mark. This is where his irrationality started to kick in, because really he should be mad at Omni-Man, but Omni-Man's not on Earth and he needs someone to vent his anger to. Oh yeah, he also got a fuck ass little power. You punch him and he can emit the energy you punched off of him. But he's working at the GDA, and what do you know? He sees these energy amplifiers that they're working on. So him and his enabling ass, dumb ass wife, they can't come off, by the way. Once the batteries are stuck in this nigga, Powerplex asks his wife to grab a hammer and start beating his ass so he can emit the energy. And she does, and it's working. Before he can make this little ass spark, now he can emit so much more energy. Then Powerplex decides, well, I'm gonna call Invincible out. So he gets on top of this building, jumps off, so all of that damage can get converted into energy. Over here, got the police shook, scared for their lives, screaming that he wants Invincible. But my nigga Shapesmith pulls up, and he's like, what are you doing, gang? You can't just be doing this. And Powerplex is like, I don't want to fight you, I just want Invincible. So Shapesmith shapeshifts into Invincible. But Powerplex started trying to zap at my nigga Shapesmith, so he started shapeshifting out the way till he pulls up on bro and punch that nigga Powerplex away. And Powerplex is like, bro, I'm warning you, I don't want to fight, I just want Invincible. But Shapeshift wasn't trying to hear none of that, pulled out the Young meters and just started beating this nigga ass. Not knowing how Powerplex's powers work, Shapesmith is inadvertently charging this nigga up. But Powerplex took too much damage, he exploded as he damn near killed my nigga Shapesmith, but he dipped out the way. And he goes back home to his enabling wife. He's like, damn, I messed up. I can't do this no more, man. We should actually stop this right here, right now. And his enabling wife is like, you know, the memorial's tomorrow. How many speeches do you think they'll give for Invincible? Just putting that battery further in this nigga back. Not only that, these niggas got a son. They doing all this in the house in front of their son. Powerplex got mad at that Invincible comment and almost cooked his son. How you not see your whole son right there, man? So Mark, Eve, Oliver, Debbie, and Paul get ready to go to the memorial for all the lives that were taken in the battle against Omni-Man like a year ago. They get there, they're giving speeches until this dumbass nigga Powerplex pulls up. He wants Invincible to pay for his crimes because of this very memorial, and he's interrupting it. Mark was finna suit up into Invincible, but his mom was like, no, this is what he wants. Eve is strong, she can handle it, so Eve pulls up. So Powerplex started busting shots at Eve. She's over here dodging, and Eve busts back at Powerplex, actually getting a hit, knocking this nigga back. Powerplex gets up and he charges at Eve. She puts a barrier up before contact can happen, but she still gets knocked back as she put 4 walls around this nigga, and also deducted that brother man gets stronger the more you hit him, so she's just not gonna hit bro. So he breaks out of the shield. Eve makes 2 more, he breaks those, and then he makes a bubble as bro starts zapping that, using every bit of his energy just to crack it. So after bro is zapped out of all of his energy, Eve restrains this nigga and she won. And the Fraudians of the Globe pull up right at the end just to arrest this nigga. And guys, he gets arrested. He's over here getting transported in this car. The car bumps, he hits his head, and his suit starts to zap up a little bit. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if I was the niggas in the car with him, it would have been headshots only, gang. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cause what do you mean your suit zapped up a little, gang? Nah, we not letting that slide. Powerplex started busting his head back on this car repeatedly over and over again. And these guards just as dumb as Powerplex too, I'm not gonna lie. Cause bro, I'm shooting you in the head with this gun I have. Gets enough strength to topple the car as he breaks out of that bitch, goes back home, and talks to his enabling ass wife again as he comes up with one final plan to get Invincible. And guys, do you want to know what this stupid fucking moronic Nimrod Neanderthal head ass nigga's plan was? It was to have his enabling ass wife and only son, baby boy still in diapers, be fake hostages so he can lure out Invincible. Mark's in a secret meeting with Donna right now, over here trying to get information on Powerplex, finding out that he lost his sister and niece in the Battle of Chicago between him and Omni-Man. Just learning more about this nigga that's so obsessed with him. And then Donald gets a call on the phone that Powerplex has broken free. So Mark goes over there, and now we're in this dumb, stupid situation. Mark knows not to hit him because it's just going to power him up. So now that Mark's here, Powerplex says the name of his niece and sister, and he asks Mark if he knows who they were. And Mark says, yes, I know who they were, and I'm sorry for what happened on Chicago. If I could have saved them, I would have saved them and everybody else that died that day. And this had Powerplex actually shook, but he shook that shookness off and was back on to being angry at Mark. And this just proves that no matter what Mark said, did, or showed this nigga Powerplex already had Mark as public enemy #1 in his mind forever. Even if Omni-Man descended from the heavens right now, killed Mark, still have Mark as public enemy #1. So Powerplex locks in and just starts zapping my nigga Mark. He knocked his ass all the way back. He tried to go for a second one, but Mark dodged out the way. Mark flew in the air as he continued to dodge Powerplex's lightning attacks. And I'm not gonna lie, why is this 30-plus-year-old man guilt tripping this 19-year-old? Is this not crazy? Brother man trying to hit Mark with survivor's guilt. Nigga, he's 19. Powerplex then charges at Mark and blasts him in the chest with lightning. Mark continues to dodge, but Powerplex almost drops rubble on the hostages, and Mark's like, bro, chill out. You almost murdered these fine people right here. So Mark makes a dash towards the hostages. Powerplex pulls up in front of him like, nah, I'm not finna let you do that, gang. So Mark had no choice. He just kicked his ass away as he went to go untie the hostages, as Powerplex's dumb, stupid, moronic ass wife spit in this nigga Mark's face, and Mark was like, what?
I'm like, what he say fuck me for?
So Powerplex took Mark's confusion to his advantage, started dragging his ass by the collar, grabbed his ass by the head, and just started frying his ass. I mean, straight cooked my goat. Then this nigga Powerplex turns around and sees that his dumb, stupid, idiotic, moronic, Nimrod, Neanderthal, whatever synonym means stupid, that he just fried his wife and child. I don't even care that the wife is dead. That newborn baby got cooked because his parents are some dumbasses. He saw he just boomed his family. He turned around and hit Mark with the
He killed my friend.
Alright, so let's kill him.
as hell, starts supercharging up, and Mark just hugs this nigga until he runs out of juice. But we see Angstrom done collected a bunch of marks like he was a damn Pokemon. And I get it, his brain's fried, he's not really thinking rationally, but like, Angstrom got beef with the only good Mark in the multiverse. This nigga Angstrom and Powerplex forged from the same brain cell. Angstrom then releases all of the Invincible variants onto Mark's dimension, and they just start running roughshod throughout the entire planet, just causing chaos and mayhem for no reason. Then Mark and Eve get a call on the phone that a bunch of other Marks are just beating up the planet. And these Invincible variants is deranged. Listen to this nigga.
I wouldn't even keep you as a slave in my empire.
Yeah, buddy, you gotta go first. We got Freddy Krueger Invincible over here sounding like he chain smoked out the womb. Viltrumite Empire Invincible fighting his Wolfman. Fun fact, this was supposed to be Spawn, but you know, copyright issues and shit. We got Invincible with a cape over here fighting Solid Snake, and all I'm thinking about is Edna right now. No capes, cause little bro gets blinked in the chest. It wasn't the cape's fault, but I'm gonna blame it. We got Mustache Mark over here fighting Tech Jacket. Y'all niggas don't know about Tech Jacket yet, but that nigga's a goer. Just for us to go see what Rex and Ray is doing, and Rex done helped Ray move into her apartment as explosions go off in the distance. From all the character development he's been getting this season, there ain't never been a nigga more dead than Rexplode is right now. When he was dipping out, he even told Ray, "I'll be right back." She should have knew right then and there he was never coming back. So Mark gets to the prison and he sees the Faux Hawk variant of himself, and he's perplexed. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be confused too if I saw myself rocking that shitty ass haircut. I gotta fold you for that off the principles alone, gang. But Faux Hawk Invincible pulls up on Mark thinking that it's one of the variants that got sent to destroy the Earth, and he's like, wait a minute, you're the Mark of this world, and tried to steal up on Marcus frame one. He dodged and tackled bro through a building. Once they come out that hole, Faux Hawk Invincible just sternum check Mark, uppercut his ass, grabbed him by the leg, slammed him on the ground, then tossed his ass in the air. He flies up to bro. They both block each other's punches just for Marcus to get tackled down. Once the dust clears, we see that they having a test of string just for Mark to ask bro why he's here. He don't get an answer, but what he does get is a headbutt to the mouth as Faux Hawk Vince is choking his ass out. Mark said, enough of this BS. Hit bro with the discombobulate. Knock this goofy ass out. 3 more superheroes then pull up thinking that Mark is one of them evil niggas, and they just start beating this nigga's ass. I mean, god damn, they are putting belt to ass on this nigga. And Powerplex in the cut watching this like, he was finna join in on the fight, but Mohawk Invincible got up and he started mowing his ass down with his powers. As we see Oliver just seeing what's going on the news, so he goes out to help. But once we get back to Mark, that Mohawk nigga is laid out. I mean, that brother is a goner. We go to the GDA and god damn, I know Cecil happy as hell he made the precautions on Mark. Cecil's thumb is not leaving off that button, and the reanimen is just pummeling this version of Invincible into the ground. I mean, they turned brother into tomato paste. So now Cecil calling everybody they have. They call my nigga Kid Britt. This nigga is a real stepper. But we see Oliver over here helping people out in the rubble. We are now in day 2 of this invasion. And Oliver sees an Invincible flying. He's in black and blue. He's like, oh, that's my nigga Marcus. He pulls up on Cuzzo and sees that it's Condom Head Invincible. They got this nigga looking like my nigga Cyclops. But hey, when Cyclops does get introduced in the MCU, I'm gonna need them to chop the top off that like a convertible, bro. Do not need a condom head on my nigga Scott Summers. Please respect the kid. We go over to Mark and Eve when they is flying through the city until they see one of the Invincibles getting jumped. And I mean, they are doing this nigga dirty. They're in a circle just beating his ass and he's just letting it happen. But he smashes the ground, knocking them all back, and he starts talking crazy until my nigga Marcus chin checks the piss out of him, bro. We then see an Immortal fighting an Invincible, and I don't even gotta talk about it. We already know what's gonna happen. This nigga Immortal is going to sell like he always does. My little nigga Oliver got knocked down just for that Condom Head Invincible to lift a rock up over brother's head, getting ready to end his life. But Oliver slid up under him and cracked his ass right in the back just for Condom Head Invincible to stretch that shit off. Oh yeah, Oliver, it's over for you, is what I would say, but that nigga was getting jumped. Invincible with a cape over here fighting a luchador. We see another Invincible fighting John Cena. We got this other Invincible fighting a baby, and I don't even know what to call it, man. The goddamn thing had a baby with a Hulk, it looks like. But this goblin-faced ass nigga threw the baby at Mark. He blocked. The goblin and the baby tried to get this 4-piece off on Mark, but he weaved just to hit him with an uppercut, and oh nah. This green goblin ass nigga fell on the baby. That brother is a goner. We then see this Invincible throw this damn car at that nigga as we go back to Mark and Eve. And oh nah. These niggas, Eve and Mark was putting belt to ass. They inherited the spirit of Yuji and Toto. Was beating the dog piss out of this nigga. Until my boy Marcus kicks bro away. Cloth Mask Invincible gets up and he starts talking crazy just for Omni Invincible to pull up. And Mark's like, oh yeah, nah, Eve, you got to get out of here. And as soon as she said no, that Omni-Man Invincible was on her ass. And Cloth Mask Invincible and Mark was actually throwing them bitches until Mark dodged and judo through that nigga just to pull up on Omni Invincible and tackling his ass before he could hit Eve. He over here spinning that nigga by the cape. What did Edna say about capes again? Before he can even pop anything off, Cloth Mask Invincible hammer fisted that nigga down. Omni and Cloth Mask Invincible pull up on Mark and just start stomping his ass out. But Eve made this big ass square, pushed them niggas against and slamming them into this building. Eve goes to check on Mark, and Mark gets up. He tells Eve to go because them two niggas pop up out of that building and they start dogging Mark. Mark gets a little offense off, but Omni-Man Invincible goes after Eve. She tries to block him with a shield, but he's too fast and too strong. He breaks through that bitch, grabs her by the leg, and snap that bitch right off the bone and slammed her ass right on the ground. I saw this happen to a nigga at a Bojangles once. Mark, trying to spin back for his girl, throws one nigga into another nigga, knocking them away, trying to make sure she's good. And now the two Invincibles are talking crazy to Mark, being like, you can't fight us and save Eve at the same time. Until it starts raining reanimen, and they start putting the pots and pans on the two Invincibles, as Mark and Eve did. We go back to the Invincible Immortal was fighting, and who could have guessed it? This nigga done laid out the whole team. Dark Shadow over here popping out of bro's shadows, kicking him in the back. And then this Invincible just laughing through it all, just having himself a jolly good time. Darkwing said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Try to do that again on Mark, but he almost died the same way the original Darkwing almost died. In the same base too. I'm not gonna lie, if I was the Guardians of the Globe, I'm never working here again. Immortal tries to spin back for his boy, get some licks off on Invincible, but it ain't amounting to nothing. Hit that brother with a 3-piece, sent his ass flying, just for duplicate to pull up and... Yeah, man, go ahead, put the fries in the bag. This Invincible start reminiscing on 3 minutes ago when he ripped this nigga Shapesmith in half just for Immortal to hit bro with this mean ass uppercut. He's like, alright nigga, that's enough out of you. Immortal fluid Invincible, he palmed this grown ass man's entire head, punched his ass down, stomped on his chest, and then stomped his head off. He then picked up Immortal's head, lobbed that bitch at Kate, and cut her body in half. I mean, Kate and Immortal is two sides of the same cheeks, bro. Like, these niggas are bums. But Darkwing pulled up and took that nigga to the Shadowverse. I'm not gonna lie, that's a Mickey Mouse ass W. We then switch to my nigga Robot, and he's gripped up by an Invincible. He gets ripped out of his suit of armor just for Bulletproof to tackle Invincible away. But Bulletproof gets kicked up in the air, hits his back on the ceiling, and on his way down, he gets punched. Then my nigga Rex gets up. He tells everybody to leave. Bulletproof takes Amanda and Rudy. They get out of there, and that was just Rex versus Invincible. And my nigga Rex is a real demon. Solo, Dolo, and Invincible by himself, them bum-ass Guardians of the Globe could never. Rex over here throwing everything at Invincible and then some, till he knocks his ass down from the ground. He then charges up the floor, exploding that bitch. But we all know that's not gonna be enough to kill Invincible. Invincible gets up from out the smoke, dokes that nigga Rex up. Invincible over here talking crazy to Rex like, brother, you don't have anything else left, man. You're even dumber than the Rex from my universe. But Rex got this deep ass gash in his gut. Puts his hand in there and he's like, this the last thing I got to blow up. And Invincible's like, what? My whole entire skeleton. Kamikaze gas taking them both out. We then get a montage of all the death and destruction caused. A lot of the Invincibles are dead. They done wrecked like 50% of the planet. This nigga Powerplex even done smoked him in Invincible. Nigga a little too geeked. You then get to day 3 of the invasion, and these niggas up the animation budget just to show these Invincibles aura farming over the destruction of Earth. Angstrom then tells all the remaining Invincibles to pull up above Mark's house. But now that they're here, Angstrom tells all the other Invincibles to go find Mark, and they're like, this is not what we agreed on. And Angstrom's like, up, that's crazy. Sends them all into that same dimension. They're done for now. So Marcus pulls up on Angstrom and tackles brother immediately. Mark over here confused because he thought he killed Angstrom, and he's like, nah, starts throwing these orbs at his ass, and god damn, them bitches pack a punch. He ported in some more orbs, having them beat this nigga's spine down. Mark gets back up, he flies top speed at Angstrom. He tried to hit him with that same portal nonsense he did that first fight. Mark's not an idiot this time. He stops in his tracks, jumps over that bitch, tried to punch Angstrom, but his ass dodged. Angstrom starts spamming them orbs, and Mark is dipping and dodging as best he can, but there's too many of these orbs. He almost got knocked into another portal, but he stopped right before it could happen. Mark locks in, starts weaving portals even with these orbs pelting his ass. As Angstrom opened the portal right above Mark, having them orbs come up, and he dodged them hoes, pulls up on Angstrom, and oh nah, all these orbs beamed my nigga Marcus down. Angstrom goes down there to confront Mark, tells his ass to try it again. Mark flies top speed at Angstrom, but 2 tidal waves of orbs come out of portals, beaming my nigga Mark down. They over here doing Mark like Mr. Incredible. He's getting pushed back, but he's punching a bunch of these orbs out of the way until Angstrom opens up a 3rd portal and another wave of orbs come flying at Mark. They almost pushed Mark in that portal behind him, and these orbs is over here cutting Mark up. Angstrom then starts talking shit. He says, don't worry, little nigga, I'm gonna bring you back after I destroy everything you love. So Mark decides to lock in, starts punching these orbs, walking down on this nigga Angstrom. Angstrom seeing Mark get closer and closer, and the orbs getting less and less until there's no more. Mark pulls up on bro, grips him up by the neck, and Oliver pulled up telling Mark to kill him, and he was about to, but Angstrom escaped through a portal. Mark tried to grab his arm and pull his ass back, but the portal closed and cut off that arm. Angstrom tried to go back. He told the surgeons to fix his ass up, but nah, they don't. They're like, nah, you promised us something. You didn't give it to us. You work for us now, gang. And Mark and Oliver go try to fix all the damage that was caused by the Invincible War. They're helping out, but Powerplex zaps my nigga Mark like 2 times. He was finna do it a 3rd. Oliver punched that nigga, and Mark's like, no, don't do that, gang. They both pull up on Powerplex, hugging this nigga out until he's out of juice, arresting him. Mark's tired, bro. He's been going through hella shit since he put on this blue suit. Just for him to turn around and see this old ass nigga Conquest say some damn,
stand ready for my arrival, worm.
4 years I've been waiting for this. We finally got it, and I'm not gonna lie, Invincible versus Conquest was some immaculate hands getting thrown, so let's just get right to it. We start off with how episode 7 ended, with Invincible and Conquest dashing at each other. They clashing. God damn, they make this big ass shockwave. We zoom into the two, and they're in a test of strength, but Conquest just hit Mark with this mean ass headbutt, yoked his ass up and slammed him right on the ground. And then this evil ass dude Conquest gets up and tells Mark, he's like, hey man, right now, if it was another Viltrumite, they would have been telling you about how the Viltrum Empire could be doing so many good, wondrous things for your planet. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not finna tell you that shit. I don't want you to resist. This old head a demon. Then Conquest tried to grab Mark on the shoulder, but Marcus just turned around, clocked him one good time in the jaw. Conquest ate that bitch and like, okay, you might be a little nice. So Mark tackles bro through about 11 buildings. He is not letting go of this nigga until they land in their final building. Conquest gets up first, grabs Mark out the rubble by his arm, starts choking his ass out, screaming in his ear, saying, yeah, nah, I ain't gonna let you die yet, nigga. You gonna have to fight me with some more. I couldn't imagine fighting a nigga at my angriest and I'm getting coached by that nigga I'm mad at. Put me down. But Mark breaks free of the choke. This combobulates his ass and then knees this nigga away. Conquest recovers like, yes, very good. And Mark's like, nah, nigga, that was just a warm-up. Hits bro with this 3-piece combo. Double fist punch this nigga upwards, grabbed him by the leg just to pull him closer to knee him in the sternum to fly this nigga into the stratosphere. He backed off just to get more speed and hit Conquest with this mean-ass uppercut, sending him to outer space. Mark pulls up on Conquest at outer space, post up immediately. Conquest over there, blood all over his face, cheesing, grinning from ear to ear. Yeah, these the type of niggas you don't ever want to run into. Matter of fact, these the type of niggas you don't ever want to see in your life, because if you run into that nigga, there's just nothing you can do about it, bro. That nigga's in your life until you don't got a life no more. And then this freaked out ass old head blows a blood bubble and morphs that bitch into a heart. Look at Mark's face. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I'd want to stop fighting, bro. I'd just give Earth to that nigga, cause bro, what are you talking about, gang? What you do that for, huh? This nigga did not do this shit in the comics. This is some new shit, bro. Conquest then tackles Mark back to Earth. He's over here choking this nigga out, or they're plummeting to Earth, and Mark is punching the piss out of dog. He gets Conquest off of him with this knee to his sternum. And then Mark's like, are you sure this is gonna go your way? Just talking crazy shit to Conquest. And Conquest is like, damn straight. And Conquest gets his first punch off on Invincible whole fight. And god damn. He punched brother one time, and them eye goggles is done for. Sent that nigga straight to the ground. And they be over here watching her son get plastered on the big screen. Oh nah, this is crazy. Oliver goes to help his brother, and Debbie tells bro to be careful. That boy Marcus is laid out. He turns around and that boy Conquest gave Mark a coochie on his eye. Brother man over here coughing up blood, realizing he cannot hang with the big boys. Mark starts to see the ground shaking rather as he looks up, and Conquest was flying down top speed at this nigga. Absolutely cooked his ass. And the whole city too. I mean, god damn. Oliver's over here flying as fast as he can to help his brother out, but Conquest is beating Mark's ass so fast that Oliver cannot catch up. Conquest over here skipping this nigga Marcus through buildings. It's looking quite rough for my nigga Mark. Conquest comes flying at Mark at top speed, and oh nah, they didn't have to animate this panel and do it so well, mind you, because Mark was talking so much shit that he was finna beat Conquest's ass, that he was gonna punch him as hard as he can, just for this nigga Invincible to be like, hold on, wait a second, when this nigga Conquest upped pole. I can't even be mad at bro. Conquest is a different beast. Mark told Conquest to stop, and brother man stopped. He listened at least. He's over here trying to reason with Conquest. Conquest like, the fuck is you talking about, gang? Slams his ass on the ground. Conquest is like, nigga, you think I'ma let you give up? I'm having a blast. As he starts petting this nigga Mark. If there was ever a time to lock in, it would have been right there. But Conquest is like, you need the right motivation. Starts looking at the humans. But Oliver pulls up and clocks Conquest right in the mouth before he could do anything. Oliver over here talking shit too. He said big ass beatdown coming up. Pulled up on Conquest and oh nah. That boy Conquest studied in the school of Bertie Mac because that nigga said fuck them kids. Smacked the piss out of Oliver. Made this nigga's body bounce on the ground. And look bro, impact frame for beating up a child is crazy. Grabs little bro by the leg and asks for his name. He doesn't like to kill without knowing who he's killing. But Mark kicks that nigga right in the mouth. He said, you not finna do nothing to my little brother, nigga. Mark tells Oliver to get out of here, and Conquest did this little slow jog to speed up at these niggas just to aura farm. I know you're fast. You didn't have to start off slow, gang. But Mark threw Oliver out the way and took a tackle right to the side. As he's just palming this nigga Mark by the head, just dragging him through building after building, talking crazy, calling bro an idiot, berating him. Starts dragging this nigga on the ground, throws him at a car. It's like, where is your Viltrumaya heart? Until I see you beat him from your chest, I don't think you got one, little nigga. Goes for this punch, but Marcus dodged out the way. He's over here asking Mark to show him his rage, and he eats a mean ass headbutt to the mouth. Over here, dropped his ass down to one knee, and Conquest is like, you're almost there, little nigga. Almost, but Mark sees Conquest on one knee and he's like, oh yeah, free eats. Starts going to town on this old ass nigga. Conquest started grabbing the ground. He was finna do something, but Mark said, I'm not finna let you pop that off. Grabbed this nigga by the shirt and just started waylaying on this nigga. I mean, pounding this nigga's face with his fist. Pause. Mark started to slow down. He tried to throw this last punch, but Conquest caught that shit and it's like, hey little nigga, if this is all you got, it's not gonna end well for you. As we see, Cecil bitch ass done took some of the dead Invincible bodies and is trying to repurpose them for reanimen. As we go to baby girl Adam Eve, she wakes up and she sees her nigga getting plastered on live television. She's like, oh yeah, nah, can't let that slide. Still injured, still got a broken ass leg, suits up and is ready to throw down for her nigga. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Find you a significant other like Eve. Shorty a ride or die until she dies. Mark pulled up on Conquest, tried to hit him with this punch. He got his fist caught. Then Conquest cocked his arm all the way back with Mark still in hand just to slam him into this building. Dragging him through the building now, he's talking crazy mess to Mark. Telling him, if this is all you got, I don't know why they sent me. Fighting you has been fun, just too easy though. He takes his ass through another building just to dip out the side and slam him on the ground. This nigga Conquest is doing whatever he wants to Mark right now. Conquest picks his ass back up, palm strikes his ass away, follows this nigga's body that's getting skipped across the ground just to stomp on this nigga's chest and start skating on him. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what I'd do if a nigga started using my chest as a surfboard, but Conquest sent Mark flying into this bus. Conquest over here talking crazy mess to Mark, getting ready to end his life, but Oliver pulls up, puts both of his feet in this nigga's mouth, drop kicking his ass away. Mark gets up and he's over here telling Oliver he gots to go, but Conquest is like, bro, look at you, you was cooked. Stay down, pulls up on bro and hits him with the nastiest backhand I done ever seen and punches the mess out of Oliver. Had that nigga Oliver throwing up every single one of his baby teeth as Conquest grabbed Oliver by the head and started stretching his ass out. Pause. But Mark gets up and he helps little bro out, tackles Conquest, and bro's like, whoa, you're faster than I thought. Grabbed Marcus by the head and punched the hell out of cuz. Made this mean ass shockwave, but Mark ate that and tackled bro into a building as Cecil pulls up, taking Oliver's defeated, beat up ass body to the GDA. We go back to the Mark and Conquest whoops, and what happened? This nigga Mark just wound up in the ocean getting skipped across that bitch. Conquest then grabs Mark by the back of the head and he's rushing towards this beach full of people. And oh nah, I'm getting season 1 train PTSD. And I was right to think so. He uses this nigga Mark's body to run roughshod through this beach and city. For what? Niggas was just enjoying their day until they got a body rammed at them at the speed of sound. Mark broke free from Conquest's clutches and he punched the piss out of bro, just for Conquest's body to run into an Adam Eve shield. Conquest goes after Eve one more time, but Mark tackles bro in the back. So Conquest headbutted Mark off of him and then karate popped this nigga leg so hard the bone came off. Mark's ass had to call a timeout. Now Eve steps up, puts a ball around Conquest and he just claps that bitch away. So Eve suits up, puts that damn armor around her as Conquest just rushes at her and she stops him in his tracks by increasing the density in the air. While this nigga completely exposed, Eve pulls out a mallet and binks the hell out of bro. She hits bro with a mallet 2 more times, but that 3rd time, Conquest catches it. Conquest then breaks that mallet and he's like, nigga, I hear you breathing hard. You've been in this fight for 2 seconds. You already out of breath? As he starts trying to pull up on Eve and she puts up shield after shield after shield and he's breaking through them hoes. After he breaks the last one, from all the debris of Eve's power, she forms a ball around this nigga's head and crushes bro with 2 spiked balls. She was not done though, throws 2 arrows at bro, knocking him back, and then she squeezes his ass with 2 big ass squares. Eve is having her TN versus Cell moment right now. I'm not even gonna hold you. She then threw the 2 spike balls at Conquest. He weaved. She then hit this nigga with a square and a spike ball. He dodges the 2nd spike ball and starts surfing on that square she just threw, just to narrowly escape getting squished again. Another spike ball was on his ass. He couldn't dodge it, so he tried to punch it, and when he punched it, Eve turned that bitch into water just to throw this last big ass arrow at bro, but this time Conquest just caught that bitch. As Conquest pulls up on Eve and he starts breaking armor piece after armor piece until her ass is completely exposed. He then punches the piss out of Eve and pierces her right through the gut. Mark sees his shorty just got shish kebabbed. I mean, god bam, got turned into a donut, got fucking Ike Turner. Like, this nigga Conquest is going crazy. Mark trying to make sure Eve not dead, over here crying his eyes out. And pause, let's just take a second out of this, man. This nigga Steven Ewan voice acting his ass off. And then this nigga Conquest starts monologuing to Mark while his bitch is on the deathbed. Told that nigga Mark thank you. He does not get to have this much fun often. There's so many mission parameters he has to go through. Don't destroy this, don't destroy that. But when he got to Earth, they was like, hey man, just take the bitch over. They ain't tell him nothing else other than that. But Mark shuts that nigga up. He says, I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow. And just like that, round 3 starts. So these boys fly at each other top speed and they clash, and oh nah. Mark's entire arm fell off the bone like a turkey leg, while on the bright side he broke that nigga Conquest metal arm. Conquest like, damn, now we're getting somewhere, but Mark don't even let him finish the thought. He gets this mean ass punch off on bro and gets this 2-piece, just to whip another 2-piece, and then Conquest gripped this nigga up with a bear hug. And then he's like, I don't know what the fuck you thought was happening, young blood. Getting mad does not make you stronger. And Mark just takes a bite out of this nigga's shoulder. I mean, that nigga took a meaty chunk off of bro. Conquest and Mark just start fighting like these boys is in Dragon Ball Z, as we see Samantha Eve Wilkins, the GOAT herself, restructures her entire body, fixing everything. Marcus then drops Conquest onto the ground and just starts pummeling this nigga into the damn dirt. Mark turns around to see that his bitch is indeed not dead. But Conquest yokes this nigga up, slams him on his knee and then on the ground. Told that nigga to pay attention. Like, damn nigga, I can't be a little excited. My bitch is not dead. Like, you need to relax, grandpa. And then we get this other Conquest monologue. This shit was not in the comics. I wish I could play the whole entire thing. But Amazon would break into my house and forcefully remove my kneecaps from my legs. But if y'all watching this video, I'm pretty sure you've seen the episode by now. Cause brother man talked about how he was lonely. Talk about how none of the Viltrumites want to be his friends because they're scared of him. He gets sent on missions from planet to planet, doing his job better and better. And as he gets better at his job, the other Viltrumites fear this nigga more and more. And then he drops probably the hardest line a villain could ever say. This nigga says, I am a victim of my own success. And then he's like, Conquest, I don't even get a real name. Everything about this nigga is aura from the mud. Conquest like top 5 old niggas all time. The whole time Conquest was giving that monologue to Mark, this nigga Marcus was staring daggers into Conquest. He was not breaking eye contact. Conquest then tells Mark sometimes he feels so lonely he could cry, but nobody in the universe would care. I'm not gonna lie, this some real nigga shit. Sometimes you just gotta let it out, gang. He then tells Mark to take this shit to his grave, as Conquest starts putting that pressure on Mark, choking the life out of dog. But Eve in the background still charging some up. As Conquest turns around, it gets mowed down. I mean, burn the hell out of this nigga. Mark over here trying to console his naked ass girlfriend, and then Conquest undying ass stands up once again. Conquest says, this time I'll make sure she's dead. Angry Mark rushes at bro, pops the mess out of bro in the mouth. Then he hits him with another one, dropping him on the ground as he goes back to pound town on this nigga. Boss. Conquest catches Mark's hand, says, I got enough fight left for you, little nigga. Breaks that nigga hand like a damn Kit Kat. And Mark's crazy ass says, not nearly enough, and starts headbutting the piss out of this nigga Conquest. He over here headbutting this nigga so hard, I got a damn headache. And after like 5 headbutts, he asked this nigga, is this enough? And Conquest like, you know, I take the good with the bad. And Mark proceeds to force feed his head into this nigga's mouth over and over and over again, until Mark rearranged Conquest's face to look like when Bubble Bass sat on Squidward. I mean, god damn, that nigga is chopped. But Mark goes over to Eve. All the superheroes pull up, and I mean, like, nigga, y'all pulled up too damn late. Like, the nigga dead already. I won. I beat his ass. I don't need any more help. They saw that nigga get this shit rocked. They was like, ooh, I don't know if I could do that one, gang. If you doing Mark like that, what he gonna do to me? And I know Duplicate and Immortal just retired, but like, come on, bro. Y'all saw this shit going down. I was like, that's crazy. But anywho, to be fair, they wouldn't have been any help at all because they are fucking bums. But it's the thought that counts. Mark heals up. He's over here with Oliver, and he's like, Oliver, yo, your little ass was right. If any nigga mess with my family, they are done for. You have a funeral for Rex. Mark sees Conquest's body. He tells Cecil to burn that shit. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm petty as hell. Do you know how many niggas in my first season 3 Invincible video was saying, but guys, Cecil was in the right. Nah, that nigga Cecil was never in the right because he decides to keep Conquest's body, revive this nigga so he can then torture him and then get more secrets on the Viltrum Empire. We had niggas defending Cecil, by the way. Nah, I'm gonna need y'all to hold this L. This nigga Cecil always been a bum. Like, this nigga got King Von Quest locked up thinking that he's not gonna break out. Is he stupid? But my nigga Mark gets some victory back shots, and yeah, man, that's the end of season 3. I'm just letting you guys know it's only up from here. Invincible is that gas. But that's the end of the video, man. Moral of the story is, don't fight a nigga that's just this.
Niggas think I'm fighting to save the day, but really, nigga, I just like to fight. What? I don't care about none of that shit. Please, just let me go. Hell out of good. Nightmare to them ops, ho.
You will not have a good time. But with that being said, if you liked, like, comment, subscribe, do the good stuff, and yeah, I'm out of here. Bye.